What if the jackpot was not random at all? What if people like Cynthia Stafford, Shane Missler, and Carol Williams were using the same daily habits to pull those wins straight into their lives? Cynthia wrote her future balance again and again until the exact number showed up on her winning check. Shane felt a surge of certainty the morning before he claimed hundreds of millions. Carol celebrated every small dollar long before she ever touched seven figures. These stories sound unreal, but the patterns behind them are hard to ignore. Subscribe if you want to understand how real manifestors build their own luck, because the steps ahead come straight from people who turn belief into a fortune. Morning identity work was one of the strongest patterns among real jackpot manifestors. Cynthia Stafford talked about this more than anything else. She treated the first minutes of the day like a doorway, and she refused to step through it until her mind was pointed in the right direction. She would wake up slowly, sit at the edge of her bed, and breathe with purpose. No phone, no chatter, no rush. She built a moment of silence where she decided who she was going to be for the next 24 hours. She did not try to hype herself up. She did not chase excitement. She chose a steady identity, the identity of someone who expected good news, someone who moved like her future had already been written in her favor. When you do this every morning, something subtle changes. Your decisions quiet down. Your anxiety loosens its grip. You stop moving from fear and start moving from intention. Cynthia said she felt a calm certainty after these moments, almost like she had stepped into a version of herself that already understood what was coming. That sense of inner balance shaped her behavior long before the winning numbers ever landed. It kept her from acting desperate. It kept her from overplaying. It kept her aligned with a version of herself who felt worthy, steady, and prepared. Real winners understood that identity is a compass. Set it early, and the entire day falls in line behind it. Many winners build a connection to luck through something physical, and this object acted like a switch. Shane Missler carried a silver piece from his grandfather. It was not flashy, and it was not rare. It was simple, worn, and heavy enough to remind him of where he came from. He kept it in his pocket every day, not as a superstition, but as a grounding tool. When stress tried to pull him off center, he touched the coin and felt himself steady again. He said the weight of it felt like confidence. A small item can do that when you assign meaning to it. Human minds are wired to anchor feelings to objects. Athletes do it with jerseys. Soldiers do it with dog tags. Winners did it with whatever reminded them of direction. Shane used that coin to pull his focus back whenever doubt tried to cloud his thinking. It was not about magic. It was about state control. When you control your state, you control your decisions. When you control your decisions, you walk into situations with a steadier hand. The winners knew that belief wavers and life distracts. A trigger object brings you back fast. It gives you something solid to reach for during uncertain moments. That tiny shift in posture, that small surge of certainty, pushes you closer to the mindset that real winners carried before the jackpot ever arrived. A surprising number of winners wrote letters from perspective of their future selves. Carol Williams did this while she waited for the right moment in her life. She wrote to herself from the position of someone who had already won. She wrote about how she handled her financial responsibilities, how she managed her new opportunities, how she stayed grounded, and how she supported her family. She wrote about conversations she expected to have after the win. She described her reactions in detail. She treated her future as if it was a memory she was documenting. This practice shaped her mindset in a very specific way. It removed uncertainty. When you write as your future self, you eliminate the fog that usually surrounds long-term goals. You stop imagining vague dreams and start imagining logistics. You train your mind to understand emotional weight of the outcome before it arrives. That prepares you for real action. Carol said the letters made her feel like she was stepping into a role she had already accepted. Writing these letters created a structured vision that her present self could follow. Instead of wishing, she started preparing. Instead of hoping, she started adjusting her behavior. When the win eventually came, she felt steady enough to handle it because she had already rehearsed the life that followed. Gratitude for small amounts of money shaped the emotional foundation of many real winners. They thank things most people overlook. A few coins in a car cup holder. A small refund they forgot about. A bill that turned out lower than expected. These tiny acknowledgments slowly dissolve the stress that usually surrounds money. Gratitude rewires how the brain responds to financial pressure. It shifts the focus from lack to movement. Mavis Wanchik described the year before her record-setting Massachusetts win as a strange but meaningful shift in her life. She said she started feeling calmer about her daily routine. She stopped worrying as intensely about bills. She found herself focusing more on small moments of relief rather than all the things that were hard. Gratitude softened her emotional landscape. It created a calmer baseline, and a calm baseline creates better decisions and clearer intuition. This is why it mattered. When you treat money with appreciation instead of panic, you stop grabbing, rushing, or acting from desperation. Your choices become cleaner. Your mindset becomes lighter. Winners did not wait for millions to show up before they changed their relationship with money. They practiced gratitude in the smallest places first, and that emotional stability became the doorway for bigger opportunities to enter. A written intention card played a huge role in the mindset of people who practice financial manifestation. This was not a long paragraph or some dramatic statement. It was a single sentence, written clearly on a small piece of paper, folded once, and tucked into the wallet behind an ID or debit card. The strength came from its location. A wallet goes everywhere you go. It sits in your pocket at work, in your hand at checkout counters, on your dresser at night. It becomes a physical anchor for your expectations. Some verified winners have described carrying small messages or reminders to keep their mind steady, including Manuel Franco, who talked about keeping physical cues around him during stressful times, so he did not lose sight of where he wanted his life to go. The wallet card works the same way. Even when you do not look at it, your mind knows it is there. When you do look at it, the effect is subtle but powerful. It brings you back to your direction without forcing you into excitement or pressure. Over weeks and months, that sentence turns into a belief, and belief turns into behavior. You start moving differently. You start spending differently. You start seeing opportunities more clearly because your subconscious finally has a stable destination to aim toward. Nighttime mattered just as much as the morning to people who built strong manifestation habits. They ended their evenings with mental release. This was a simple practice, but carried deep psychological weight. They let go of the need to control outcomes. They let go of the tension they built during the day. They let their mind settle instead of replaying problems. A mind that goes to bed in chaos wakes up in chaos, but a mind that goes to bed in calm wakes up in clarity. Jack Whitaker, known for one of the largest Powerball wins of his time, talked openly about how he learned to slow himself down at night before life changed for him. He had gone through years of stress before his win, but he understood the importance of ending his days in a grounded state. That habit kept his thoughts organized and his energy steady. Nighttime detachment is not giving up. It is training the brain to stop interfering. It is telling yourself, I have done enough for today. When you end the night in acceptance instead of worry, you sleep deeper, recover better, and wake up with a sense of direction. Winners did not carry pressure into the next day. They released it, and that release created the mental space for their next move. Many people who eventually won large jackpots practiced a physical version of preparation. They did not just think about winning. They rehearsed it. They picked up a blank check and wrote their names slowly on the line to feel what it was like to sign something that carried weight. They held old lottery tickets and imagined the exact sensation of gripping a verified winner. They placed documents on a table and acted out the moment of claiming a prize. This was not superstition. This was training. Athletes rehearse plays before stepping onto the field. Surgeons rehearse procedures before stepping into the operating room. Winners rehearse the emotional intensity of success before stepping into the moment that changes everything. This physical rehearsal removed shock. When the real moment arrived, they did not freeze. Their body recognized the feeling. Their nerves stayed steady. Their breathing stayed slow. Familiarity reduces fear. Reduced fear creates clearer decisions. Clear decisions open the door to breakthroughs. Physical simulation was the bridge between belief and experience, and it shaped the way winners responded to the world long before their names were ever announced. Instinct played a quiet but powerful role in many jackpot stories. and it showed up in ways that were almost impossible to ignore. People who eventually won described moments when something inside them said, "This is a time," and that signal felt different from impulse or excitement. It was steady, calm, and strangely confident. Marie Holmes, the North Carolina Powerball winner, who took home a massive prize, talked about how she felt a sudden clarity the day she bought the ticket that changed her life. She said she walked into the store without planning it and felt a sense of direction that pushed her to act. It was not a rush of emotion. It was a grounded feeling, as if a heavy weight had lifted off her decision-making. Many winners share versions of the same moment. The reason this instinct stands out is because the mind becomes sharper when stress softens. When the noise is gone, intuition becomes easy to hear. It stops being confusing and starts feeling like guidance. The winners did not chase this feeling. They waited for it, and when it finally appeared, they trusted it. Instinct-driven action is not guessing. It is alignment. It is a moment when your inner world lines up with your outer choices, and that alignment often becomes a turning point in a story that seemed random from the outside. Daily routines played a major role in shaping the mental readiness of real winners. They made quiet adjustments that produced order, not chaos, and those adjustments created the emotional structure needed to handle life-changing opportunities. People who eventually won big often talked about a period where their life settled into an unexpected sense of clarity. Loren West, the Iowa Powerball winner who shared a massive jackpot with another player, talked about how her life felt more organized in the weeks leading up to her win. She had just moved into a new home. She was stabilizing her schedule, and she was trying to build healthier habits. These changes were not glamorous. They were simple shifts that made her days more predictable. A scattered routine drains energy. It creates mental noise that clouds instinct and feeds anxiety. But a steady routine makes it easier to hear inner signals. It makes it easier to stay patient. It keeps emotional swings under control. Winners create structure in small ways. Cleaner mornings, more organized spaces, quicker decisions about responsibilities, better control of their time. The routine did not create the win, but it created a version of themselves capable of receiving one. Stability is a quiet foundation beneath every major breakthrough, and the people who built it found themselves meeting opportunity from a calmer place. Environment shaped belief just as powerfully as mindset. People who eventually stepped into massive wins made intentional changes to spaces around them, not to impress anyone, but to influence their emotions. They removed objects that felt heavy or connected to past stress. They cleaned spaces that made their mind feel cluttered. They improved lighting, changed the music they listened to, opened windows for air, and reorganized their surroundings until the entire space felt lighter. Robert Bailey, the New York lottery winner who claimed one of the state's largest prizes, spoke about how he created a comfortable and controlled environment in his home long before the win arrived. He kept his living space tidy, quiet, and steady. He surrounded himself with things that kept him focused and removed things that pulled him into frustration. This mattered because environment is the silent influence most people ignore. A chaotic space creates a chaotic mind. A calm space creates a steady mind. Winners design surroundings that support a belief, not fear. They build environments where their thoughts could breathe, where their emotions could settle, and where their goals felt closer instead of distant. When your environment matches the future you want, your actions start matching it too. You move like someone who is ready rather than someone who is waiting. Winners understood this long before their names were printed on a check. 2 minutes of deep visualization became a steady practice for many people who eventually stepped into life-changing wins, and the process was far more physical than most people realize. They were not daydreaming or drifting. They created a focused moment where the mind and body synced around a single scene. They sat still, placed both feet on the ground, relaxed their shoulders, and pictured the moment that would change everything in their lives. They imagined the screen displaying the winning numbers, the exact order of the digits, the pause between each announcement, and the final confirmation that made their whole chest tighten. They imagined their hands shaking as they held the ticket, the way the edges of the paper felt, the way their heart climbed into their throat. This was not fantasy. This was emotional memory training. Think back to where this all started. The quiet visualization, the small wins, the instinct that showed up at the perfect moment. Every winner felt those shifts before their life changed, even if they did not realize it at the time. Now the real question is yours. Which step are you ready to start tonight? Hit subscribe if you want the next story that might push your own turning point a little closer.